controls here. All right, let's do 2022 question number 3. This is set 1, by the way. Set 1. All right. Italy and Japan are trading partners and have flexible exchange rates. The Italian currency is the euro. And the Japanese currency is the yen. I'm sure I'm doing those not very well, but you get the point. Suppose that the exchange rate between the euro and the yen is 1 euro for 100 yen. What is the price of an Italian coat in yen if the coat cost 120 euros? So, 120 euros, well, times 100, right? This should give us 120 times 100, 12,000. We should be able to figure that out. Now, next year, 2022-23 exam, you will have calculators. So they're going to make these more complicated. Just be prepared for that and make sure you can use a calculator and figure out what's going on here. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of reading to know exactly what they're looking for. So 12,000 yen for that 120 euro coat, Italian coat. All right, assume that the real interest rate increases in Japan. Identify what will happen to capital flows between Italy and Japan. So we should recognize what's going on here. If this is Japan and this is Italy, Japan now has a higher real interest rate. So its interest rate goes up to 8%. I'm just making the 8% up. Italian's interest rate or real interest rate is 3%. Now, the real interest rate are what banks are paying for people to put their money in the banks. I know that's confusing, but when we get to the foreign exchange section here, the FOREX, we like to call it. When we get to the FOREX section, we think of these interest rates as pulling money from one country to another. So it tends to be that if Japan banks are paying 8% on any money put into their bank, Italians are going to take their money, because their banks are only paying 3%. They're going to drop their Italian or the euro into the FOREX, and they're going to buy Japanese yen. And then they're going to take those yen and put them in Japanese banks, and they're going to get that 8%. I'll say that again, because that's a little confusing if you haven't seen this before. Japanese banks have a higher real interest rate. The Italians want that higher real interest rate. They'd like to make more money on their money. They'd like to get higher interest rates. So they're going to take their euros, drop it into the FOREX, and they're going to buy yen. They're going to take that yen and put it in Japanese banks, and they're going to make that 8% on their money. So this, Italia has what we call a capital outflow. They have money leaving the country, chasing this higher interest rate. Japan would have what we call a capital inflow. Money is flowing in because obviously Italians want that higher real interest rate. Easy enough, right? Draw a correctly labeled graph of the foreign exchange market for the yen. For the yen, make sure you know what we're talking about and show the effect of an increase in the real interest rate on Japan on the value of the yen. So we kind of know what's going on here. We do just need to know how to draw this graph. It's simply a supply and demand. This is our foreign exchange graph. Now, we are talking about yen. So it's going to be yen on the vertical and the quantity of yen on the horizontal. Remember that. If you're talking about yen, it's yen on the vertical and quantity of whatever that currency is, in this case, yen on the horizontal. It will be euros to yen, right? Easy enough. Knowing how to label this and knowing what it looks like is half the battle. We recognize that these Italians want to put their money into Japanese banks and get that 8%. Well, Japanese banks don't accept euros. They only accept yen. So these Italians have to buy yen in the FOREX. So the demand for yen in the FOREX is increasing because the Italians want to buy it to put that yen into those Japanese banks. So the demand for yen is increasing or shifting to the right. We can see that's going to drive up the value of the yen. Let's just use E1, E2 here as an exchange rate. Always label all the axes, but we could probably just do Q, let's say 1, 2 there. Nobody's really worried about this so much, but we would want to fill it in. We're worried about that shifting of the demand curve, and we're worried about that exchange rate showing that the value of the yen is appreciating. We could also say that it's taking more euros to buy a yen. That's what this also is showing. The currency, the yen is appreciating, its value is going up. We could also say that it's getting stronger. Now, the interesting thing about this is you could show it either two ways, and either one of them would have been correct. You could have shown demand increasing, or, now this is only for the yen here, right? So we're talking yen again, euro to yen, quantity of yen here. We got just a regular supply and demand. But recognize what's going on. This is the graph showing what's happening inside the FOREX. Inside the FOREX, Italians are dumping their euros into the FOREX and they're buying yen. And then they're taking all of that yen out of the FOREX. So the supply of yen is decreasing. Either one of these is correct. Notice that both of these are making the real interest rate, making the exchange rate or the value of the yen increase. Both of these are absolutely correct. Either one, it's up to you which one you choose. I tend to be, when somebody is buying the currency, I'm going to use demand, right? That's just an easy way for me to do it. Again, the College Board would have accepted either one of these because they're both saying the same thing, that the value of the yen is increasing. And they're both correct. People are wanting more money, the demand's increasing, and they're taking money out of the yen out of the FOREX, so the supply of yen is decreasing. Both of these are happening at the exact same time. Based solely on the change in the exchange rate, what will happen to Italy's exports to Japan? Well, the yen is appreciating, which implies that its currency is stronger. That should imply that that means Italian currency, the euro, is weaker. Japanese have a higher currency. It's stronger, it's appreciating. So therefore, Italian goods, due to this weaker euro, Italian goods look what we call relatively less expensive. So their exports, Italian exports, are going to increase. In essence, due to that stronger yen, they can now buy more Italian goods because they have a stronger yen. So they're going to find Italian goods less expensive, and Italian exports to Japan would increase. Does that make sense? I hope so. All right, take care. If you need me, I'm on Wyzant, Charles W., and I can help out. Keep working hard. Let me know how I can help. Be safe. Thanks, guys.